Oh yeah, Diddy got a podcast.
I've been called the N-word lover more times than I can count on my hands.
You've heard this?
I've been called that so many times.
What? Listen, all right. Let's please. This is what I've been waiting on. I've been wanting people to go and have this conversation. I want to sit down with a KKK member. I want to do this.
I know, and that's why I offered myself.
I wanted this.
Yeah.
What does it mean when that's said? Like,
so
I'm trying to understand what the N word means in general. This is a word that I knocked out of my vocabulary.
Me too.
4 years ago.
Yeah.
I stopped saying this years ago. Because I get there's this consensus, and by the way, I'm not saying this because I'm on here with Ashley. I've said this with Chris James, who identifies as an African American. I've said this with my brothers and my sisters who sat on this podcast as well. So it's not because I'm on here with Miss Ashley. I'm only saying this. This is a legit thing that I've said several times before. We have this thing where us as so-called black people, we say that we've taken this N word and we flipped it. And we've made it cool because we set the trends. I do believe, and I'm just being honest.
I get that.
I believe that we, as in like so-called black people, I think we do set trends that a lot of people follow. But other cultures do that as well. But I think ours can be like extremely powerful. And because of this, I think people try to associate that with things like the N-word and said like, oh, we flipped it and made it into something cool. No, we did not. This is just my opinion. What I think happened is, and again, this is also something I've said on the podcast already. What I think happened is, like, if I was to say, Ashley, repeat me. The gangster walked down the street.
The gangster walked down the street.
Say it again.
The gangster walked down the street.
Okay. There's gangster and then there's gangsta.
Sure.
Okay.
Yeah.
There's the coronavirus, and then there's the Rona.
Mm-hmm.
Then there's the N-word with the hard ER.
Yeah. And
then there's the N-word with the A at the end. I think what's happened is it's not that we made it cool. Yes, it's something cool to say that we say in our culture, but what I'm saying is, or in our community, what I'm saying is, I don't think we made it into something cool intentionally. I think we just talk different. I think what happened is we don't say gangster, we say gangster. We don't say little. We don't say Little Wayne. We say Lil Wayne. Right? We give it like a cutoff. So I think that's what happened. So this is a word I cut out. But I've never, ever, ever been able to understand what it means. Like if I was to have someone come up and call me that word who's not so-called black, and they mean it with the hard ER, and they mean it in a very derogatory way, I would just look at them and be like, all right, so what I need you to do right now is tell me what that word means. Like, because if you were meaning to offend me, I'll help you offend me so that I can feel offended and you can get some joy out of it. But I don't feel a lick of offense. Like, I'm not offended at all right now because I don't know what that word means.
You're lucky that you feel like that, but not everybody does. A lot of people still are very, and should rightfully be, offended by that word.
No. Okay, I'm glad you just said that because maybe I'm coming off a different way. If someone walked up to me and said the N-word, I understand how they're trying to offend me. I understand the history of the word. Okay. Oh, no, I get the history of the word. I get the intent behind it. What I'm saying, I'm being very psychological here. I'm saying, so the N-word means what?
That word doesn't hold any power over me.
Right, but I'm going to get even more technical. And I want you to explain this to me if you've had this explained to you. Because I really don't get it. So the N, when a so-called white person who considers himself a racist was to call we'll use something you've dealt with, for you to be called the N-word lover.
Yeah.
What does that mean? You're loving on someone who's what?
Less than.
Less than. So the N-word means that you're less than.
Yeah.
Simply
you're
because
an inferior race.
Okay.
That's what they mean.
Okay.
And a person could try to make it sound pretty all they want. They could justify, or they could say things like, well, if you dated a white man, your life would be easier, right? Just like when you tell a person, if you weren't a homosexual, your life would be easier. So I don't want you to be gay because I know it's going to be more difficult. I don't want you to date a black man. I don't want you to date a white girl because your life is going to be more difficult, right? If someone tells you in that way, you're like, well, they care about me. Fuck that. No.